He comes, he'll go, leave naught behind but heartache and woe. Deep, deep woe. It's all silent for the night. Cows turned in as daylight dies. But when soul lies anxious, wide awake, fearing all manner of ghouls, hags, and wraiths. My dear Dolly Polly, shut your eyes, lie still, lie silent.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the lovely Gwentlemen talk show. As always, hosted by myself, Jaggerus, and the lovely Swim.
Pumpkin, is that like a new emote, man? What's going on over there?
I mean, at this point, it's gonna be an emote. Like, it's beautiful.
Dude, Pumpkin, why the long face?
Dude, okay.
Oh man, when he gives you that look.
Oh,
there we go.
We get some what faces in chat.
Welcome back to the world of the living, Pumpkin.
But as always, we have some guests, and our lovely guests this week are the adorable PusoKo.
Hi.
And the what face Pumpkin.
No, face Pumpkin.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
I'm doing well.
Doing well. Did everyone have a good Christmas? Was Santa good to you?
I didn't really do anything.
You don't have Santa.
You didn't do anything for Christmas?
No, I just stayed at home. So.
Oh, yeah, me too.
I ate so much turkey. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It was good. I had a great Christmas. Anyway, so yeah, we have Pumpkin and we have PusoKo. So do you guys want to introduce yourself a little bit?
Oh yeah. Let's have some.
Who first, me? Or Pumpkin? I guess I'm talking already.
We can play barbarian rules over here. Like whoever just gets their voice in just goes.
Okay. Hi, I'm PusoKo. I stream Gwent and a little bit of variety, but mostly Gwent. And my favorite faction is Skellige. And my peak MMR is like 4,300 something. Okay, I'm not that good, but okay, cool.
What about you, Pumpkin? Are you that good?
Yeah, no, not yet. I'm still climbing. I play Scoia'tael, for those of you who don't know. Everyone knows. Yeah, I don't know. I'm SirPumpkn. Yeah, I stream Gwent.
Cool. Oh man, SirPumpkn. There must be people who have only known you as SirPumpkn.
Yeah, so I used to be known as Pumpkin Shit. Great name. Good old times. Yeah,
what a great gaming name. Why though? Like, did you not realize it was going to cause issues in the long run?
So the story behind that is my dad. So the original name that I wanted for Gwent was taken. So I just asked my dad for a random name, and he just threw it out. And I was like, "All right, cool, whatever. It doesn't matter. Never gonna stream. It's fine. It's fine. Doesn't matter." Yeah. Well.
And here we are now.
Yeah, here we are now.
So let's talk about streaming and how you guys got involved. I guess we'll start with PusoKo again. Why did you start streaming Gwent? What got you into streaming? Did you stream before Gwent? You know, those are the kind of standard questions, I guess.
I started streaming in 2015, but as a variety streamer, so I didn't really grow that much. When I started playing Witcher 3, that's how I got into Gwent. But now it's too late to sign up for closed beta, so I started playing first day of open beta. And yeah, that's about it.
So you've only played since open beta, and isn't it similar for you, Pumpkin?
Yeah, I played a bit in closed beta. I started probably 2 months in, and then Nilfgaard came out, I scrapped everything for Nilfgaard, and then Nilfgaard was terrible, so I stopped playing the game for 5 months.
Yeah, they really were bad for the first leg. I mean, a lot of people kind of won't remember those times, but you know, there were actually times where Nilfgaard wasn't like one of the best factions.
Yeah, Nilfgaard was the worst, and Scoia'tael was the best.
Oh man, good old times, And now here we are with the current patch.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Scoia'tael is kind of having its time in the sun again. To many people's, what's the word? You know, not really liking it. Many people don't really like it. How are you feeling, Pumpkin? Now that your baby Scoia'tael
it's just dwarfs. It sucks. Yeah. Like it's not Scoia'tael. It's just play a dwarf.
Dude, I've been playing dwarves and it got me to climb, so I'm guilty. I don't mind. It counters Scourge, right? It counters Scourge, and there's yeah, because everything was like bears, right? And then people came up with Scourge decks to counter bears, so then dwarves fixed that, and yeah.
Oh yeah.
And now bears are going to make a comeback because no one's running Scorch anymore. Hooray! It's like the circle of life.
It's a beautiful thing. Oh God. So obviously, you know, we've had this big recent patch being dropped on us. Everything is kind of at the point where we're actually able to talk about like what's good and what's bad. Scoia'tael ending up very good, and obviously a lot of people will have different opinions on what's bad. I'm kind of curious what you guys, everyone here, would say that the worst 2 factions are, because Monsters. I think a lot of people will answer differently. Monsters and what though?
Well, that's definitely number 1.
Oh man, poor Monsters. I mean, it's
Monsters is the faction.
I mean, Consume's okay.
Bad.
I think Consume's good.
Yeah, Consume's not bad, but outside of Consume, Monsters is pretty trash.
Northern Realms, it's got to be right. Like the Nilfgaard, Skellige, and Scoia'tael are all decent. Like. That leaves Monsters in Northern Realms, realistically.
No, Northern Realms is great. I don't know. Yeah. It's a tough question. So regarding Monsters specifically, I think that I would say Monsters, if you look at all their archetypes in general, is definitely the worst faction right now. But Consume single-handedly is, I think, a better option than some other factions have access to. Like, I would probably put Consume as a tier 1 or top of tier 2 deck. I don't know. It's tricky to evaluate.
Then every faction is good. There's no bottom faction that we're right.
I might say Monsters and Nilfgaard.
Ooh, because but I mean, Nilfgaard has bugs that makes them good, right? At the moment.
Yeah, like returning a unit with Emir from the opponent's side. I mean, I guess that's pretty good. Like that's an okay card.
Buff the Enforcers too.
Yeah. The Imperial Enforcers got buffed. There was a huge amount of outcry about that, like early on in the patch. I think at this point, I think most people have kind of cottoned on to spies just typically falling off from power creep. I think one thing that a lot of people kind of forget is that when most archetypes and decks and cards are getting buffed, anything that stays the same or only gets minorly buffed effectively becomes a little worse off for it.
That is true. I mean, there has been a lot of it's kind of weird playing in the current patch. Previously, 16 points was like, could I pass here? And now it's like 16 points. Like, all right, well, guess we're still playing, boys. Like, the way the game has changed in terms of what is tempo is kind of strange, and it definitely takes a little bit of getting used to, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, back in the day, there was pretty much only one thing that could actually regain that much tempo, and that was old Saskia, way back in the day. Back in closed beta.
Oh yeah, closed beta.
Yeah, closed beta. What great times when it was just me and Swim and some other people.
Some other people.
Oh dear. So when do we think we're going to see a hotfix? Let's put that one out there.
January 8th.
When the holiday's over, right?
Yeah,
that's
when
what
back
Patricia
home.
said.
Yeah, January 8th. Sounds good.
Like a week and a half.
I don't know. there's a few bugs going around in the game right now. A lot of people are kind of outcrying. I think most of it is honestly somewhat inconsequential, but there's a fair bit of it that's kind of game breaking. Like just in a game I had like 30 minutes ago, the opponent like discovered or created Milena, and I just like pulled up the side log, and I was like, oh, it's a Milena, I'll just pass.
Yeah, my opponent did that to me on the Morin the other day. He just passed, and I was like, okay, whatever. Feels bad, man.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like, it's not even like their fault on it sometimes, because like Gwent Tracker, and I think Gwent Up as well, also show exactly what it is. It's just because of how they ended up coding it. Like the client has the information of what the card is. So like trackers and also the history log will just tell you what it is.
That's terrible.
I didn't even notice that. And I play like Milena and stuff.
I mean, that's what happens. You get punished for playing Create and Square.
I think your opponents may have noticed it.
Yeah, PusoKo's just like, oh, it's so weird. Whenever I play this, how do they know?
Yeah.
In fairness, are we not meant to be having a tournament in January, right? There's a Gwent Open in January. Yes, so they've got to fix everything before that, I would assume.
Yeah, and hopefully some, balance changes will be inbound as well. One of the nice things, I expect that there will be a actually relatively fair bit of balance changes happening. Obviously, the devs are all on a holiday right now, but I know many of them do, they're not literally not paying attention to the game, right? They're still taking notes. They still have an idea, what is there to balance. And when they get back, there will be, I think, accommodating the hotfix, a decent amount of balance tweaks. Hopefully, I'm really hoping personally that some of the weaker stuff gets tuned up a bit, like some of the stuff in Monsters.
Some buffs. Ooh. I don't know. I think the community is so negative. I'd be surprised. I think we're gonna see some nerfs. I think it's unlikely that they'll leave spies in Discover, Spawn, Create, whatever it's called. I don't know. I don't know if they're likely to do that with how much kind of uproar there's been.
Well, a bit of a quote from Burza. I have it on good authority that Burza was caught saying at some point that Create would probably no longer target silver spies. Wow. So apparently that is the solution that they are probably going for, which personally to me, I feel, and I'm curious what you guys think about this, but I feel as if that's not necessarily a good enough solution, because it's still going to be pullable by Heim. It's still going to be pullable by Isengrim Outlaw. And even cards like Summoning Circle and the new Yennefer Enchantress, which are able to capitalize off of multiple Summoning Circles, are still going to represent a bit of a problem with the replayability of spies. What do you guys think?
They're going to rework Heim. I highly doubt they'll let Heim go through as is. There's just no way. Heim might as well just say, play your opponent's spy. That's just what Heim does. I mean,
but it sometimes doesn't do that.
Not when you play Scoia'tael.
The thing is, the counter to Heim is to not run a spy. So you can either not run a spy and just shoot yourself in the foot, or you can run a spy and then get Heimed, and there's no real choice to it.
Some people wouldn't run a spy and then they just create a spy, right?
Yeah, but you have to rely on that.
Right? Yeah, the RNG. High risk.
Why run a spy when you can run a rune?
Exactly.
Yeah, and that actually. So I mean, how do we feel about this solution? Is this going to be a good enough solution? Assuming that they take it off of the runestones and then maybe rework Heim and I guess possibly Isengrim Outlaw, although Outlaw is less of a problem.
I mean, you mentioned Summoning Circle, but we've had Summoning Circles, not a new.
That's true. But there's two important things to consider about that. First of all, Yennefer Enchantress and any other cards that scale off of that ability are going to influence that. But the thing about spies is that they kind of give you exponential value every time you play one in a non-committal position, right? So while Summoning Circle isn't new, it is piggybacking off of the high amount of spies from other sources and it's kind of accentuating the problem in a way as well.
Yeah, I agree with Swim. I think the reason Summoning Circle is a pain last patch. It used to really annoy me when people did that. But the reason why it's such an issue now is because people aren't just playing one spy, they're playing 2 or 3. So you have multiple opportunities to play that Summoning Circle, which makes it, intrinsically more valuable than previously when you didn't necessarily know if you were going to get that sort of spy duplication value or not.
Yeah, and the more spies you play, the more of an opportunity you have to effectively auto-win the game. Because if you win round 1 and you play more spies than your opponent in round 2, then you guarantee to go to round 3 with card advantage after bleeding as much as you want to do, right?
Yep.
So I feel personally as if these concepts are kind of always going to represent an issue, even if they tone down Create and even something like Heim. I feel like it's going to be hard for cards like Summoning Circle, Tutors for Spies, Tutors for Summoning Circle, stuff that can like replay it, like, Yennefer Enchantress, for example. I feel as if it's not necessarily a solution with great permanence. What do you think, Pumpkin?
What if we just remove spies? It's brilliant.
I suggested that on Twitter. I was like, imagine if there were no spies. I actually think it's not a bad idea.
What if we made spies gold cards? So you have to take up a gold slot.
Yep, that works too. And there's pretty much nothing that can, actually reuse those by design.
Right. If you really want that card advantage, you have to go down a gold card.
Yeah. I honestly think that both of those solutions would be, I think, preferable to kind of like the direction that they seem to be going in. But we'll really have to wait and see, because that's just something that Briza said now. And we know that the change isn't going to be coming for a while. So we're just kind of in a wait and see kind of mode.
I mean, if you played Witcher, you'll know that spies are an integral part of the Gwent experience.
Yeah, that's true. They make spies gold. They're deviating from their roots. It'll be like the gold values change all over again.
Oh, dear.
I don't know. So, I mean, speaking of kind of spies and Create, and a lot of like what people are talking about right now, there has been a lot of complaint about RNG in the past, right? Mostly, I think, leading up to the patch, actually, maybe even a little more after the patch. But I'm curious where all of us are landing on kind of the RNG debate. Do we hate it? Do we love it? Are we indifferent? PusoKo, go.
I actually don't mind RNG. I think it makes the game a little bit more fun because there's more variation. Because before, well, I guess still now, you just play the same cards in the same order, right? But then with RNG, you don't know what you're gonna get. I like putting Uma in my deck and be like, what do I get now? What are you gonna give me tonight, Uma? So I think it's a little more variation, which is a little bit more fun. High risk, high reward. I mean, there's the high risk too, so it's not like OP.
Pumpkin.
Wait, when we say RNG, are we talking about the Create mechanic or just RNG as a concept?
RNG in general. RNG as a concept.
I mean, I do agree. Gwent was pretty linear, and it got kind of boring from time to time, especially when you did play it 7+ hours a day every day. So adding that variance is definitely fun. Makes games more interesting. As far as the healthiness, I think they went, other than Silver Spice, Create, and Heim, I think most of the Create effects are okay. Obviously, Runestones are getting abused because of Silver Spice, but for the most part, I don't generally lose games to RNG that I wouldn't normally lose before.
Do you think it's okay?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen it influence many games from what I've seen.
You seem a little reserved. It almost seems like you don't really think.
Well,
it's okay,
because if I say that I like RNG, chat will blow up. And
are you shilling, Pumpkin?
Oh no, Pumpkin! Not you too.
Oh, they got you too?
Yeah, they got me. Oh, jeez.
What do you think, Jaggerus?
I think, like, the problem... So, to me, the problem is, like, RNG is like a meme, you know? Because of Hearthstone, people are like, oh, Gwent's better because it's got no RNG. It's like you're playing a card game where literally your decks are randomly assigned in an order and you're picking them up from the top. Like, there's always been RNG in Gwent. There's been top decks and that sort of thing. It's just a different style of RNG. So people are unhappy because they've added another kind that, you know, scares them and reminds them of Hearthstone. I think it's fine, but then I never really played Hearthstone, so I don't know about like bad RNG at this stage. Maybe this is bad RNG, and I'm just like, you know, I'm just unaware. And then in like a few months, I'm gonna be like, oh man, Reddit was right.
Go to YouTube and type in Yogg Saron.
I heard about.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't know Yogg Saron?
I got told what Yorkshire did, like, I think a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, well, that's clearly stupid. But none of the cards currently are like discard your hand and then spawn a card for every spawn a spell for every card that you discard. Or, like, something stupid. I feel like they're relatively sensible for the most part.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I couldn't agree more with what you were saying, that this is effectively like a new type of RNG. Like, ultimately, Gwent is a game where, while obviously skill can prevail, there is a lot of RNG that I think people don't talk about, which is, and people talk about coin flip even, and like opening hands, but even beyond that, just like the RNG of like what matchup you hit into. And this affects not only ladders, but also tournament play as well, which effectively just like hitting certain matchups with bad matchups can just absolutely decide the winner of like a tournament set. And I mean, that kind of thing is always going to be prevalent in your game. Like, I think people have like done statistical countings of basically Magic the Gathering tournaments and Hearthstone tournaments, and in terms of like the better player winning, it happens pretty oftenly across the board. But because of the land system in Magic, just because of the different style of RNG it doesn't feel as bad as playing an entire game of Hearthstone and just losing because you get smacked in the face by Ragnaros, right? So I would say that the problem is very largely psychological. I'm not saying that it's in your head as in psychological. It's kind of different. But in terms of it's really just a different kind of RNG than what we're used to.
So speaking of tournaments, are we going to have Shoop in a tournament? Next Gwent Open, Shoop decks.
Ooh. Shoop is ridiculous.
Shoop is terrible.
Oh, you don't like that Squirtle Shoop deck, Pumpkin? You're not a fan?
It's fun. I enjoy it. I love playing Hearthstone in a Gwent format. But, geez, Shoop is not good.
But the guy is top 10 with it, Pumpkin.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe everyone else just sucks, I guess. Yeah. Everyone's just bad at the game.
Right, that's kind of my theory in progress, too.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, Freddy's going to bring Shoop. I believe. Hashtag change for babes, say PusoKo.
He brought a Gaunter last time, right?
I know he'll bring Shoop.
I mean, Freddy is in the rare state, and this is why he brought Gaunter, by the way. He's in the rare state where he's kind of gonna get invited no matter if he wins the next one or not. So he kind of doesn't care, right? Like he's got his ticket for the challengers and the master, right? And the masters at the end. So yeah, I mean, I think we can probably expect Shoop from Freddy.
Oh, I really hope so.
Hashtag babes for babes.
Hashtag babes for babes with a 4. Sometimes people write FOR. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Mm-hmm. How dare you?
That's not going to work.
Oh, dear. What else should we talk about with the meta? I'm just trying to think.
Well, I'm curious. Obviously, we've got a couple different opinions here. I mean, what are we largely thinking is powerful right now? Because I'm sure we can all agree that like Dwarfs is a very good deck. I don't think anybody would really put that deck outside of tier 1. But I'm curious, really, what decks do you think are good that others may not think? Unpopular opinion time. What are we thinking? Or decks that are kind of worse than other people think as well. Pumpkin, do you have any items?
Worse than people, or better than people think?
Yeah. Or are all your opinions popular ones?
Well, I mean, I've mostly been playing Scoia'tael, so I can't really say much.
Oh.
Hashtag pumpkin shill.
Jeez. I'm going to get that in my chat a lot today. I don't know. I mean, are there any decks out there?
Are there any decks? Just any decks.
I mean, there's a few. There's a couple.
I don't know. Mill's going around. Mill, yeah. I'm super excited to play against Mill, I guess.
Wait, someone's playing a Mill deck? I thought they killed Mill.
Yeah, me too.
Oh no.
Wasn't Croaky trying to get Mill
for the last 2 hours? I played at least 3 games of it. It was great.
Yeah, 2 hours, 3 games. That sounds about right for Mill, to be honest.
I was 1 game off of GM and I hit triple Mill in a row. It was great, man.
Yeah, Mill never went anywhere. It was never off the tracks.
Really? Oh
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Can we just forget that it exists for a bit? Like because it was so prevalent like 2 patches ago, and then everyone kind of forgot that it was a thing you could do.
Dude.
And then oh no.
I'm gonna do a deck guide on it tonight. Yeah.
Doesn't Mill counter dwarves though too?
Yeah, it
because
does.
dwarves thins out a lot. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it
Bring
really
back
does.
Mill.
And the dwarf variant that's probably most popularly used right now is incredibly hard countered by Swears. Because the most popular variant has 0 Mahakam guards, which means not even if you're milling them, if you just Swears skirmishers, that entire deck is dead, and it's hilarious. That being said, people are wisening up and starting to put guards in. So
it doesn't do anything. I run guards and skirms. It does absolutely nothing.
Well, do you mean against the single Swears? Because I'm just talking about like the Swears tech, not even like the mill
single
stuff.
Swears? Oh no, that's fine. I'm talking about the full out mill.
Oh yeah, you'll just lose that one. It's great.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they just keep spamming Swears and like take all your cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that kills Barclay, right? Because Barclay pulls out a dwarf.
Basically, how the meta works is that because people net deck, the meta kind of works in ebbs and flows, right? It's exactly like PusoKo was saying earlier, where like everybody was running bears, so then everybody all at the same time switched to Scorch decks because like everybody is just doing what everybody else is doing. we're like a giant like school of fish just kind of swimming around in a circle. And then it's dwarfs, and now it's coming on to mill. And everyone's just gonna get with it. It's gonna be great. And Spill's time now.
Doesn't Swim build the meta?
So it's like, yeah, now it's time for Mill, guys. Did you get the memo?
Well, I guess Shoop's viable now.
Oh yeah, because Shoop totally counters it, right? You just play one of everything, and then Swears is useless.
Yep. Yay! Now I have to play super inconsistent decks to beat Mill. Yay!
Do you think someone's going to bring Mill to a tournament? Oh no.
Oh yeah. No, there's gonna be.
It'll show up.
Went open. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, who wouldn't bring Mill?
And then Freddie will win because he has Shoop.
This is a prediction. You were hearing it here first, right? Like 28th of December 2017. You gotta stand behind that one, PusoKo.
For sure.
I don't know, but PusoKo, Jaggers, do you guys have any like kind of unpopular opinions? Anything that's you think is better than other people think or worse than other people think? Jaggers, you got anything?
I think like it's gonna do what it did last patch, and then we're gonna chill for a bit, and then suddenly someone's gonna come up with like it'll either be Northern Realms or Monsters. Because everyone was like, oh, Monsters terrible, Monsters terrible, Monsters terrible, and then all these different consume decks were like started getting played. And Monsters wasn't terrible. Maybe Dagon. I want Dagon to be good again. Remember when Dagon was good? Wasn't that fun?
No, let's not.
I mean, you mean that like 5-month period?
Yeah, I've missed him. I haven't seen him in a while.
Dagon can be tier 3. It's okay. It can have one patch of tier 3-ness.
Yeah, I'd be okay with it. Like I wouldn't.
Hot fix. Like he'll get hot fixed, and it'll be back to Dagon Master Race again.
Dagon spawn 3 Foglets. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're for God's sake.
I think my summation of the patch that is a little disappointing to me, but it speaks good things about the future of like the next couple of weeks, is that I feel like they were too careful with some of the new stuff, right? Like when you're releasing new content, you don't want it to be too strong. And stuff like Moonlight, I think they erred maybe too much on the side of caution. So a lot of the new stuff that was supposed to be really cool ended up being kind of unplayable. But the good news is that I'm sure, or I really hope that will be sorted out with the hot fix and the balance change, that they'll be able to buff up some of these kind of weak stuff that they've introduced.
Moonlight has really nice art.
Yeah.
Oh, the art's fantastic. Probably the best art in the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of the really nice, like the nicest row effect, I would say for sure.
I really like Dragon's Dream. Have any of you guys ever seen Dragon's Dream?
Only with Shoop. When you do play Mage and then it does 3 hazards in a row, yeah.
Mage is so strong.
I got Skellige Storm, double dragon, whatever, and he got so scared it just won me the game. It was great. Because he couldn't play on any row. He plays on Skellige, he takes damage. He plays on the other, I blow it up. Brilliant.
I mean, Dragon's Dream is cool because it's like it counters First Light, right? You can't First Light it because that's a spell, so it just triggers it.
Oh,
not a spell, sorry, a special. Counters. So yeah.
Yeah, that's like a silver lesser, right?
Well, I just feel like it's one of these things where maybe if there's a way you can play it with something else, that's the kind of situation where else you play.
Peasant militia, dragon. Oh wait, they nerfed Peasant Militia for no. Why did they nerf Peasant Militia? Oh, I was waiting for the Reddit threads about filling your opponent's rows. That was gonna be fun.
So that's probably why they nerfed it, Pumpkin. Would you like to clarify for those of us not in the know exactly the strategy and the card you're referring to?
So Peasant Militia used to fill up an entire row with 1-drops. In the PTR, it filled up your whole row, but in the old PTR, you could fill up your opponent's entire row. So you'd go Peasant Militia, Peasant Militia, Peasant Militia, and then they have to discard cards until they decide to pass. And you just like tremors. And then there was a meta where everyone was running Trish Butt. So you'd Peasant Militia them and they drop Trish Butt and you lose the game on the spot.
So right off the bat, that's probably why they changed it right there.
Oh, but the Peasant Militia method was so fun. Like you'd play Peasant Militia, then they'd play Peasant Militia, then and then everyone would just have 1-strength units. Good times.
Got them.
Now it's just like a 3/3 spawn. Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, it is pretty bad. I mean, I guess they were I guess too scared to make it a 4.
Why not just fill up the row? I mean, I understand filling up
fill up the row anymore.
No, it doesn't. They changed it. In PTR, it didn't hit your opponent's row, which I can understand. That could be kind of cancerous if your opponent can't play anything. But filling up your row was fine.
Maybe you had new players and they didn't realize that there was like a row limit, so they play Peasant Militia, Peasant Militia, Peasant Militia, and they couldn't play anything else. And so it's to stop stupid people from countering themselves.
I mean, they'll figure it out after one game, right?
I mean, they were a little scared with like the amount of flexibility that card has over being able to buff things, right? So I mean, I can tell you right now, internally, when CDPR was deciding on what the row limit would be, Peasant Militia was a card that was created in like a 7-row limit scenario. And it got changed because like the 9 was just too strong with it. They were just like internally experimenting around with different row limit options. And it was maybe fun on a 7, but when it was 9, it just ended up like giving too much value to potentially stuff like siege supports or like Triss Butterfly or Yennefer and stuff.
6 siege supports into Peasant Militia. It took a minute and a half. Oh, it was great.
Oh man, fun times. See, I'm just kind of annoyed about the row limit that it's like an odd number for some reason. It just feels wrong. Like it should be 8 or 10. 9 is like, I feel like that was a compromise someone made. Someone was like, "Yeah, it should be 8." And someone else was like, "No, it should be 10." And I'm like, it's fine.
What if it was 9 and a half? And the half unit splits onto another row.
A little like its own little personal row.
Actually, no. 9 and then a half, and the other half goes to your side of the board. So you fill up a row with 9 units, and then you play a spy, and you get a free 6 points. Easy. Dude, it's brilliant.
It would shake up the meta.
Would it though?
Yeah, give it like a year when they run out of ideas, and then we'll have this new like half row.
On a row.
No, hopefully. I mean, anybody who's stuck with Gwent for the past like 6-12 months knows that there have been like a ton of just like overarching changes, like huge sweeping changes every patch. People say you have to like relearn the game. They're getting the framework in place, and I hope that we'll be able to say a year from now that these kinds of things won't be happening so much. They're just they need to decide where they want it, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. This year's been the year of change. Or are you going to say PusoKo?
For a noob who doesn't really play with row limits because I never play enough cards, like what are the benefits and like nuances of row limit? Because I don't think I usually play enough cards to hit row limit.
The benefits are that if you make a mobile version of the game.
Oh.
In my opinion, I think like the main reason for row limits was to make use of mobile markets, because then you're limited to how many cards you can put on the on the board, which means you can fit it on a screen. And also in terms of processing power, it's not so demanding because, there's a limit to how many premium cards, for example, you can have at once and that sort of thing. Like it kind of gives them a lot of options in that regard.
Okay. It's not like gameplay wise, just like...
No. Huge gameplay. So X-Men wasn't seeing much play, so we needed to buff X-Men, right? Normally you play in a row to counter weather. Now... you hit 9, got to play on another row.
Yeah, no, it's true. It does definitely help them.
Oh, dude, playing against X-Men is so much fun. I just discard all my cards. Ugh. Instead of having to hire... What?
Yeah, now that you can discard your cards, it's a nerf to X-Men.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
I throw away half of my deck against X-Men, usually. Oh, jeez. Instead of high rolling a card out of your hand, you just discard it. It's brilliant.
Yeah, there's a lot of strategy. There were a lot of times in the past where like it was almost conceivable that you could like rope to try to discard something. Like in a lot of cases, not even just against X-Men.
I remember watching you play games where you were like, all right, as long as I don't drop my infantryman, I win the game. And you get down to 2 cards in this infantry, it's a 50-50 and you miss. And you're just like, well, GG.
Yeah. So they've actually reduced the RNG in that aspect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why they added row limits or discarding. The discarding thing is quite neat. I think it's like it made sense to add it.
Yeah, but then Foul Ale has to disappear as a card.
Oh no! What a shame.
Well, but I say Foul Ale, but I'm also talking about like the design space that it represented, where theoretically that kind of effect, not even necessarily something terrible, but that kind of effect could like actually exist in the game, right? And it doesn't have to be terrible by design because it can be on a shorter timer. I don't know. Like no.
Oh, well, you give your opponent something, they've taken that away from you.
Well, if it's discarding cards from your hand, it's not good. Because if it's slightly decent...
Nobody's saying anything about discarding cards. Just like the idea of like having your opponent's hand be a resource that you kind of like manipulate in some way. Like by adding something to it and doing
maybe
something
like
bad.
A poison where like one of your cards on board takes 2 damage every turn or something. I don't know.
I mean, the design space that it represented in my mind was basically giving the opponent a choice, which is something that directly nothing else can really do, because cards often can't really give the opponent a yes or no option because you play cards on your turn and your opponent plays cards on their turn. And I guess there is design space in giving the opponent an option that they, as soon as it starts their turn, that they choose, but that's kind of weird. I kind of like that idea, but of course it's totally fine that you can discard cards manually. Anyway, PusoKo, we never got around to you. What, do you have any unpopular opinions about things that you think might be good or might be bad?
If you don't have any, we're gonna call you a shill.
Oh no, I don't know. Wait, cards or like decks?
Anything. Either. Archetypes, factions.
I remember, I thought everyone got mad about the priestesses getting nerfed. Well, they did get nerfed, but then they're still really powerful in like the bear decks. So I don't know. But then, yeah.
Okay. But no, that's enough. You're not a shill. That's an unpopular enough opinion.
This is every guest that comes on now. We have to like say something bad about Gwent, or else.
Yeah, that's like the test. Like, you know.
You passed. Good job.
Thank you.
I think the priestess change was fair. Like, having to build a deck that targets a certain kind of res now, I think that's good. I think priestesses were basically auto include in every single Skellige deck, and now they're not.
No, they weren't auto include. Swim. Can we hear your logic behind Freya's chat? Type 1 if you think Freya's are auto include for the past forever.
I think that they were a 3 of in pretty much every Skellige deck in the past, but not necessarily for the same reason, and therefore aren't. I would not call that card auto include. I would just say that card has been in every Skellige deck, usually as a 3 of for the entirety of Gwent history.
So what's your definition of an auto?
It wasn't
an auto include is a card that needs to be run in a faction by definition. I'm not saying if Freya's haven't been auto include in Skellige, it's just that but every Skellige deck has used Freya's for different reasons. I think that Freya's started to fall off around the time that Ceres came around, and then people never really got on that train just because Ceres was too good at that time. And then Restore was a thing. Like I feel like there's been different reasons for Freya being so good every single time, and it's not been the same reason.
Did you guys realize that Doppler's busted?
In what way?
The resing.
It can res Ceres. It counts as res ticks.
Yeah.
It's
really?
Stupid. Yeah, it's dumb. It's transform, which for some reason is res.
Oh dear.
It puts it into your graveyard. So I'm looking forward to making a all in buff Sarah's deck and multiple Doppler. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I mean, so that's how Doppler and Uma work. They're spells that go to the graveyard and then transform and res themselves basically into their chosen card. I don't know. I think that's not bad. Like Herbalist into Doppler is sort of kind of comparable to Elven Scout, except for Skellige has really terrible bronzes.
So wait, they go into the graveyard, transform into whatever it's meant to be in res. That's how it's been programmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love when this sort of things happens, and it's like someone's been like, right, this is clearly the best way to do this. Like, there's no other way that we can possibly do this. I don't think so. No, it doesn't say resurrect on it.
No, it's an example of a misleading card text, which we've had.
Well, we don't have any of those in this game. No,
not at all. It's all very clear. We have keywords now.
Keywords, yes.
We didn't used to have keywords once upon a time. Oh man, there was sometimes it was like an essay just to read what a card did.
Yeah, no, I recall that. I don't know. That's one thing that's, I guess, a little bit nicer now. Certain cards were very convoluted. Like Harpy had a description of like 5 lines for kind of almost no reason because it had a relatively basic ability, and now it's down to 2.
That's really why they removed Foul Ale, not because of the discarding thing, but because it was too much like reading proficiency for the average Gwent player. So they were like, we can't have this. Get rid of it.
You're not wrong.
I mean, it gives card advantage, right? Like, they should just say that.
Of course, yeah, it gives card advantage. That will make sense. That's why they got rid of it, and instead now we have this lovely spy meta.
So, what do you think the meta is going to be once they remove spies on create?
Probably.
Well, they got to nerf dwarves, right?
Still dwarfs. I don't necessarily know that they do have to nerf dwarfs. I think that in the next week or two, people are gonna be able to make and optimize Northern Realms, Nilfgaard, and maybe Skellige decks to kind of the point where they're on the level or at least close.
Northern Realms is strong. Someone needs to come up with a deck. Like it's always gonna be good.
It's always
their golds are just too strong not to.
Yeah, and their bronzes too. And Henselt has a card. Henselt is pretty funny these days. I don't know. Northern Realms is just hard to optimize. I was saying this earlier, but I think that oftentimes patch waves just happen in cycles, right? On day 1 and day 2, you had the super brain dead Skellige decks, and then now we're on day 4, day 5. We have the Squirtle Dwarfs decks, which are more nuanced and harder to put together, and they're coming across at this point in time just because they actually require a little bit of deck building. And then next week we'll be hitting the decks that require actual deck building, stuff like Henselt and stuff that needs optimization to really function will kind of come back on the scene.
Okay, we're looking at you, Swim, for your net decks. Optimize them.
I'm no Northern Realms player. Nah, somebody else will do something with Northern Realms probably.
So what's the next SK list you're gonna make? Because bears are obviously.
I don't know. I would be experimenting with Skellige more if my chat didn't make me feel like I was letting them down every time I played it.
Just throw in Uma into every deck in SK and they'll love it.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Jurgen
for 70 points. A lot of people are traveling.
Sorry? Traveling?
So sounds like a robot.
Oh yeah, you're getting a little.
Can I speak?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You sound like a robot. Okay, you can hear me. Right. I was gonna say I feel also at the moment so many people are traveling, or doing stuff for Christmas. So a lot of people who build decks and whatnot haven't been as focused on it. And so maybe once it gets past New Year and into 2018, then we'll see more decks.
Maybe they're just waiting for the hotfix. But yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for as well. But we'll really have to see, how it ends up playing out. Until then, same as always. I'm curious, what you guys think about a little recent thing, and I know Pumpkin, you have an opinion about it because you were in my chat just not 10 minutes ago, but 10 minutes before we started. And right now we are at a point where Gwent Tracker just got a major update. It's now an Overwolf, and a lot of people who only used Gwent Tracker actually used Gwent Up for like the first time ever because Gwent Tracker was down for a week. So a lot of people are talking about kind of like which one's better right now. Yep. I'm very curious where we all land on that. Although I kind of have a suspecting answer.
I actually gave up. I was one of the people who used Gwent Tracker, and then I switched when it wasn't updated to Gwent Up. And I don't think that it's that bad. But then the overhaul thing with Gwent Tracker and then Overwolf, I think the Overwolf overlay is kind of annoying. So I uninstalled it pretty fast. But I'm not sure.
That sounds about right. Pumpkin, what do you have?
I mean, so I was a huge fan of Gwent Tracker. Never used Gwent Up. Obviously, it was down for a week, so I used Gwent Up. I actually haven't downloaded Overwolf. I mean, I've had Overwolf in the past. I used to play I used to use it for Arena and Hearthstone because it would show you the most optimal picks. Right? It's so useful. Because not everyone can watch Crip and learn from him. I don't know. We'll see. If it does use up a lot of resources, I'll probably just uninstall it.
Yeah.
Does it send notifications or anything? The Overwolf client? Does it pop up? Or can you just minimize it and not hear from it again?
Not that I know. I wouldn't know. I'm probably not going to be sticking around long enough to find out.
Are you seeing performance issues?
I am, but I always am, so I kind of can't tell.
Dude, I saw that copy Postons wins. Hi, it's Sophie from Overwolf. Oh, they're spamming right now on the Gwentlemen channel.
Oh, dear. See, when did this happen? Like yesterday or the day before? This is all news to me. It's very
exciting. this Overwolf thing. I think that was that yesterday or the day before? It was. I think it was 2 days ago.
Something on Overwolf. He told us a while ago.
Oh yeah, that's true as well.
I think I saw the Reddit thread yesterday, or maybe the day before that.
I mean, to be fair, I spent most of the last week just seeing how much I can physically eat before I feel ill. So Christmas has been pretty great, but part of me wants to be the hipster and be like, oh yeah, and using trackers, but everyone uses trackers unless you're on console, in which case just buy a computer.
Feels bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, Panda saw the light, right? He's like the console crusader, and he doesn't even play on console. Yeah. No, I think I think it'd be really funny if then CDPR were like, oh, we're banning trackers right after Overwolf sponsors Gwent Tracker. It would just be great. It would just be great. But I haven't tried the Overwolf one. I've played some things with Overwolf and it's kind of annoying. I've never really used Gwent Up either. But I feel like they're just much of a muchness, right? They basically do the same thing. They tell you the point difference and they tell you what's left in your deck. So it's just it's like tomato, but now it's tomato, but brought to you by Overwolf. So I guess it depends on how you feel about that. That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah, no, I probably couldn't have put it better myself. Oh well. Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Do they show banished cards? Because Gwent Up doesn't show banished cards unless they've updated it.
Yeah.
If my opponent plays,
Gwent Tracker still shows banished cards.
No, but Gwent Up. They update it? Because I don't know how many times they played Summoning Circle or Spy.
I don't know. I never update my Gwent Up. My chat always tells me to.
It does? Okay, it does. I guess I haven't updated.
Updating things. Things don't automatically update.
Yeah, Gwent Tracker used to automatically update. Why doesn't Gwent Up do that?
Jeez, Gwent Up.
Isn't that a plus of Overwolf automatic updates?
Gwent Tracker did it without Overwolf.
I mean, Gwent Tracker.
Yeah, Gwent Tracker was automatic.
It was great. It'd be like, by the way, I updated for you. Also, I've uninstalled System 32. You don't need that. It uses too much CPU. You need more space for Overwolf. I don't know. I like this meme. I like this Overwolf meme. It's fun time. So maybe I should. I'm going to use Gwent Tracker just for this, just so I can bitch it. And everyone just put me a shill. It's going to be great.
If you get disconnected, just blame Overwolf. They're DDoSing you. It's
because they're using your computer to mine bitcoins. Jeez, don't you know anything? Oh dear. Anything further?
I've got one for you guys. Okay, so if there was one thing you could remove from Gwent,
Spies.
and one thing you could add to Gwent. And this is a 2-answer question. So each of you think of one thing. If you could remove anything or add anything, what would you remove and what would you add? Give me a moment.
Can I add the spies that Pumpkin removed?
Are you saying that because you're a fan of the mechanic, or you're just triggering Pumpkin?
No, I agree. I think spies should be removed, but like that's a cop out. It's a cop out answer, right?
All right. Well, I'll just add the removal of spies. Easy. I do think they need a Gwent tracker at some point in game.
Oh.
Or at least base strength. Yeah.
It's kind of so annoying.
I mean, there's cars now that like boost according to like starting strength or whatever now, right? Xavier.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to see.
Oh, I think they could also just like add the point difference, right? Some of these things are just like little quality of life things, like that the trackers provide, or things like if you have like 40 points and my opponent has like 20 points, how like obviously that's obvious.
No, 20 you're ruining my math game experience. I need
quick
to.
Maths.
You're lowering
do
the
my quick
skill
maths.
ceiling, dumbing down Gwent. Can't believe you.
I know. I'm just. How
Not
dare
everyone
I?
has 400 IQ.
God.
I know, and it's. I'm gonna say anything.
Oh my gosh, can they like do the math for us for meditation and dual cards?
Why don't they just have us play the games for us too, Jaggerus? God.
Jeez, how dare I have like quality of life suggestions? Everyone's quality of life must be terrible, otherwise Sim is unhappy.
I think every time you have meditation in hand, a calculator should just pop up. You can do
I
saw like
quick
Clippy.
maths.
Like it looks like you're trying to duel. Oh man, yeah, I want that. Let's add that.
I mean, I just pull up the calculator in Windows a lot. But yeah.
Third-party programs, man.
Yeah.
I woke up to Reddit posting like 2 different dual calculators for Isengram. Or is that Isengram? Yeah. But it'd be nice to have it in game or in the tracker or something. Because I think those ones you have to like open in a Chrome window or something. I don't know.
The first tracker that has a calculator will be my go-to tracker. So, yeah.
There you go.
Where does Spectral Whale go if a row is full?
Like, you mean it
Doesn't?
Does he just not go to that row?
I don't think it does. It can, right?
That would be likely, but the alternative is that it can go there, but then it gives itself.
Like it just
Which would
goes
be
there and
pretty funny.
dies?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that, but it might. I don't know.
I
don't
need
think
to know the
anyone's
answer
played
to this
Spectral
question.
Whale in the last like couple of months.
If it hits a full row, it actually just banishes the entire row. It's just no one's actually tried it yet because the card's terrible. So if you want a busted X-Men deck, just play Whales and hope your opponent row stacks and you just win the game.
And like Odrin, where does he go? He's like,
he goes to your opponent's side of the board.
Just go, yeah.
He just becomes a spy, draws you a card.
Draws you a card every round. Oh, yes.
Every turn, yeah, that's his effect. Good stuff. I don't know. I mean, if there's one thing I could add, it would definitely be like some kind of limited or draft mode. And if there's one thing I could remove, I think, and this might be like a very slightly unpopular opinion, but I mean, barring spies, because I assume the spy thing will get sorted out. But I might actually remove weathers. I don't know. I really kind of hate the entire concept of weather.
But my game identity, dude. Why would you?
No, I know.
As in hazards, like all hazards.
No. I
just
don't
weather
hazards. I actually like the design of like the new contact cards. I feel like there's a lot you can do with that. You can have certain effects that like are amplified when some things are under contact cards. But context cards, by definition, don't really allow you to snowball in such an incredible way based on the opponent just not having an answer in a kind of ridiculous way that weathers can. I was saying earlier that I feel like Axeman is a cool archetype, but it just inevitably gets swallowed by the necessity to run golden weathers. And your opponent having a clear destroys your entire strategy to the point where it feels like you're just playing a weather deck with Axeman in it, as opposed to actually playing like an Axeman deck with weather in it.
So your solution is to remove weather.
I'm not saying that's the best solution. Dude, I don't think the best solution to honestly anything is to remove it, but just in this like thought experiment where if there's something that like you just end up removing, like something you hate, it might be weather for me. I don't know. Anybody disagree or feel similarly? Pumpkin, you look like you're deep in thought.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a game without weather. There's not much weather right now. I think weather's kind of linear in that, or gold weather. If they have a weather clear, you lose. If they don't, you win. I mean, that's It's kind of.
I feel like it's kind of a little silly. I mean, it just. I don't know. There's no answer to weather apart from either having an answer yourself or passing. It just makes decks run random weathers, and it's just kind of very win or lose. It doesn't really, I think, add much to the game apart from that.
Oh, I thought of something that I hated. Can we just get rid of muzzle? Like, let's just remove that. I don't think anyone would mind. Like, literally, I think there would be at least 50 Reddit threads being like, "This is a great change, CDPR." Like, that's how they could make the community happy. Like right now.
Reddit.
The hot fix will just be like, we took out muzzle. Also, we fixed the bugs.
Not good.
Oh, but it's so annoying. Like, you have to plan your whole strategy around it. Like, either get rid of it or make it so it like toggles lock, so that if they do take your card, they don't get the benefit of your card.
Then there's no reason to take the card.
It is to deny them their engines, and also
so you could just thunder it.
Yeah, well, then that's fine too. If it's so bad it doesn't get played, that's also fine.
Don't you like winning games when they play muzzle on a 2-drop in round 3? Like,
who's holding their muzzle for the 2-drop in round 3?
No, they top deck it.
I haven't seen a muzzle in like.
No, there's
5
no
days,
muzzle.
at least.
I haven't seen.
No, I just hate muzzle. I don't care if nobody plays it. They should just get rid of it.
Do you play siege supports? I feel like you do, because those are the people who hate muzzle the most.
No, I just
because they're the easiest to work with.
I like how you're just sitting here trying to figure out what she plays to actually hate muzzle.
Well, because like enforcers, who cares? Brigades don't matter.
Maybe she plays dragoons. She could be Skytons, dragoons, hawkers supports. Smuggler. Sorry.
It doesn't matter if I hate it from last patch. I'm still angry about it. That's the thing. It's not even about what the state is now. It's all of those like cards that it took from me last patch when people weren't making like 8 million tempo plays.
Yeah, I mean, it really is a different time. Like, just the amount that one patch can just like smash a card like that into a ground without even really directly changing it is pretty crazy.
I mean, it wasn't that good last patch either.
I
don't know.
How dare I not like something?
In terms of strength, for sure.
I don't know. I loved when my opponent played muzzle.
It's not about where it is in the meta or anything. I just hate it as a card.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
I just hate it. And then the counter is like, oh well, I'll just muzzle you back. And then they're like, I have had Marvin's Blue Dream. And just playing like pass the parcel with your cards. I just can't be arsed with it. These are my cards. Don't touch. No touching.
Yeah, but like Nilfgaard does that all day long with cards like Guardian and Spheres and Old Donar.
We can get rid of them too. Good. Oh,
yeah, I agree.
Guardian. Let's get rid of that as well. Although I actually got nerfed, so it's not that. Yeah, I can still get rid of it. Like, just muzzle cancelled, Spheres cancelled, Guardian just cancelled. Just throw them in the bin.
Shillard.
Shillard should not have been printed. The whole reason I was okay with Shillard is because there's going to be no such thing as mill, or like it wasn't going to be good.
Yeah.
But it's actually not bad.
Yeah, no, it's good. Shillard is great.
Which card is that again?
Steal your opponent's gold card. That's what Shillard does.
Yeah. You both draw and then... Well, no, yeah, you draw 2 cards and keep one. One of them's from your opponent.
Yeah, but your opponent doesn't have any cards left. Or you don't have any cards left because you milled yourself, so...
Honestly, if next patch they just remove cards rather than adding new cards, like, I will be happy. I don't think many people will... Yeah, like, just like get rid of all these terrible cards that annoy me.
Yeah, but they're all Nilfgaard. So just remove Nilfgaard.
Yeah, that works too. We can go back to 4 factions.
Perfect.
Turns out they lost the war, you guys. Oh dear. I mean, like, who's that gonna upset? Like Mogwai, he'll get over it.
Probably a fresh batch of people, I would say. Like a hefty amount, I can imagine. I don't know.
And realistically, CDPR should remove Nilfgaard to show that Mogwai is not a shill.
Yeah, that's true. That's
the only way they can prove it.
Yeah. Or they'll remove it as punishment for him disagreeing with something they say.
Oh no!
Yeah. That's why we're all backing CDPRs, because we're afraid that they'll delete our favorite factions.
Well, I guess Monster will be the only faction left. That's how we buff monsters. Just remove the other 4 factions.
Oh yeah, I really love Scoia'tael. CDPR is bad. Sorry, Pumpkin.
Oh jeez.
Ah, dear.
Yeah. Anyway, I think on that note, we should be able to go to viewer questions. Unless anybody else had any last bits they wanted to get in, I would recommend, if you did, you guys right here, if you had any questions that we didn't get to, we'll just go to viewer questions now, and you can just kind of pretend you saw one of the viewers ask it. Go to that now. So if you guys have any questions for us, just type @Gwentlemen in chat. We can answer any questions targeting specifically PusoKo or Pumpkin Nekarat. What does that say? Targeting what the thing under your either PusoKo or Pumpkin, or just to any of us or all of us. Your choice. What do you think about coin flip in the current state of spy meta?
Coin flip's always been an issue with spies. Nothing new.
Oh, you mean like silver spy meta?
Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about silver spies.
Either that or they're a time traveler.
I mean, aren't spies meant to reverse coin flip?
Yep. But they don't. It's just whoever has spy wins if you win coin. I think you're playing II, sir. Feels II. Oh, actually, quick question.
Aye, sir.
Sorry, no. Swim, thoughts on Nova?
Oh, Nova.
We didn't get to that.
I mean, I said a while ago that I think Nova would be... I called it secretly bad. Just sometimes I like being like intentionally vague with how I say things. Mm-hmm. What I did clarify when I said secretly bad, I meant it would be good, but like start falling off in decks, and I feel like that's what we're seeing, right? Like,
yeah, we are.
It was super popular early on, and it's kind of secretly bad. Like, I still think the card is competitively viable, absolutely. Like, it will find play in certain decks, but it's gonna find, I think, relatively few.
I love that swim logic. Well, you see, when I said it was bad, what I meant was good, but bad.
Like, secretly bad.
This way swim is never wrong. It's brilliant.
It's never wrong. It's like, oh, well, I said it was going to be bad, but what I meant was it would see play and then eventually not see play.
Well, that's the secret. Like, that's what secretly bad means. It can't be secretly bad unless it's at least decent. Because otherwise,
so is it decent or bad?
Swim, you gotta be more straightforward with us.
So, you're saying I should just call it secretly decent now?
No,
that's so much less punchy. Secretly mediocre.
Perfect.
Say what you mean. I don't think it's secretly anything.
I think it is, because everyone thought it was good, and I think it was secretly less than good. Which maybe
but that
that's
means that you think it's bad. That doesn't mean that it's.
I don't think it's bad though. I think it's like a competitive card that's not as good as other people think. So
it's the secret that you don't think it's bad.
There's no secret here.
You said there was a secret. Okay, so Nova.
I don't know. Yeah, my stance on Nova hasn't changed at all, Pumpkin. I don't know. What do you think?
Secretly bad.
Well, again, I was very sure there was one sentence out of like everything I've been saying that you're gotta focus on. It's I was saying that the card is competitively viable, but it's not gonna find play in like a majority of decks or anything like that. Like, it's a solid card.
So it's a niche card. Why secretly? I don't know. I think your phrasing of secretly, you just throw it into.
What do you mean?
It's not a secret.
Okay, so do you think I should just say the word overrated instead of secretly bad?
Yeah.
Yes, that actually makes sense.
Okay, it's overrated. But
Thank you. All right.
Okay.
We understand what you're saying now. We can move on. Cool.
Yeah.
You just have to.
When
When you're talking with me, you just have to pull up like a little swim talk translator. That's all when I say secretly bad. For everyone here, for future reference, link people that don't understand to this exact clip.
Yeah, that is interesting. Seems interesting.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
Can Swim explain Hubert?
I don't think it's probably humanly possible for anybody to explain the complex and nuanced nature of such a card. So I guess the answer is no.
What's the card description for noobs?
Oh, Hubert. He basically he's a 7-point Northern Realms vampire that eats the boosts in your deck.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, I thought you said humor. Can Swim explain humor?
Oh no, I
was just like, this is such
the wrong person there, my friend.
I was just like, this is such a strange response. I want to make a Vincent deck. Let's play some Vincent. He's the one that absorbs armor, right?
Is this a meme? Why does everyone want to? Oh, did you do a paint thing, Swim?
Oh yeah, I did a paint thing.
Oh.
What did you paint?
Hubert. I was trying to do a thought experiment. So I was 2 hours deep into a chat trying to explain to my chat how Hubert works and how he provides value, and it culminated in me trying to draw them a picture and give them a little thought experiment.
Do we have a pretty picture to look at or a link?
No, I deleted it. It's gone. It's never coming back.
You deleted the VOD? Someone linked the VOD.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't think he actually deleted it.
We're
This is important, Swim.
See, your first mistake was trying to explain things to your chat. That's like error number 1.
And then you went to paint, which never ends well unless you're Destiny, and even then, shit, still doesn't work.
Okay, so basically, I'm gonna use you 3 as a test. Okay, I'm gonna give the same explanation that I gave my chat. We're gonna do this really quick because I'm honestly only doing this because we're not getting a lot of viewer questions, right? Except for super fake ones. But basically, Hubert, you're playing a card so that you don't have to play a 9-point bronze, because Temerian Infantryman and Bloody Baron are 9-point bronzes and 9-point golds, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Pumpkin, we cool? We cool?
I'll get it.
Wait, you don't get it?
I don't either.
So you're playing Hubert so that you don't have to play Bloody Baron.
Well, Bloody Baron's a 9-point bronze. I mean, he's a gold.
It's a gold.
Okay, Temerian Infantryman is a 9-point bronze.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
And Hubert means you can get the ability without having to play it. This is going nowhere, guys. This is
No.
No, I understand what you're saying. You get the buffs off of infantry, you don't actually have to play it.
But why would you not play infantry? Because you want to thin your deck.
Oh my god. Are you working for chat?
No comment.
No. This I can't respond to that. I don't think there's a single thing I can say. I don't know. I think my chat was primarily confused. I suspect on how Temerian Infantryman is a 9-point bronze.
Wait, really?
Hubert, it is a 9-point bronze. You are not wrong.
There we go. That's honestly, thank you.
Or you could just, play it.
I didn't say Hubert was a good card.
Oh, okay.
That's no part of my argument. Although after 2 hours of trying to justify him, I think I might have come across as saying that.
He's secretly good. He's secretly good.
I never.
Oh, he is secretly good. Right. You heard it here first, you guys.
He's underrated, as Swim would say.
I would never say that. I would say secretly good.
So he is secretly good.
Okay, so secretly good is underrated and secretly bad is overrated.
Yes.
whatever
Right.
swim language is. Swim
That's a
English.
swim translator.
Okay, so
I'm gonna start writing a dictionary.
does anybody else? This is a literal "Where's Waldo" out of these like seas of question marks and cool story bobs. Can anybody else find any viewer question? Here's one: any way to make Pavetta good? No. Bam.
I saw that play of the month.
They can remove her in the next patch. Like
Yeah, free
with
scraps
other
done.
cards I
We did
hate.
it. We made Pavetta good. Free scraps. We nerf her. Wait, is that why they nerfed her, to give people free scraps? Wait,
So they should nerf her next patch, is what you're saying.
Oh.
it did. She's a
Jesus.
3.
It was like an apology for the patch. They
Here's some free scraps on a card that no one plays.
exactly.
Can someone tell me why Villain Treadmouth can't kill itself? Because he's a freaking dragon. He's going around like breathing fire and shit. And
So
then
why
why
does
would he be like,
Scorch kill it?
oh man? Because like if you scorch something, you can scorch a dragon. But if you're a fire breathing dragon, you're not gonna be like, oh well, better
Lore
kill
friendly.
myself. Like,
Lore
come on.
friendly.
Can you burn a fire? I mean, he
Yeah.
creates fire. What? What?
Yeah,
Have you ever
but
tried to burn a fire?
he's not flexible enough to twist himself around to burn himself. That's all.
Yeah, he
I
doesn't
guess,
do enough
yeah,
yoga.
Not
Yeah.
enough yoga.
That's exactly right. Here's one. Do you think that Shoop and Nova in the same deck is secretly good? Not unless you're Mogwai. Okay, here's the next question. Why does Pumpkin play bad cards?
Scoia'tael faction? What bad cards do I play right now? I don't even play Wily right now.
Oh, here's somewhat of like an actual question. Opinions on crate leaders. Now, crate leaders caused a lot of controversy prior to the patch, and then nobody saw a single one.
Well, they did change Ada, right?
Yeah.
She can't go outside of... Okay, honest question. Cards like Agora, should they be able to hit faction cards? So what if they just made it only hit neutral? So neutral creates can only hit neutral cards.
Or they could use Hearthstone rules where it doesn't go by the neutrality of the card, but the faction you're playing at any given time, right?
Yeah, I think just neutral is like too small, right? The pool's not big enough. They would be
Agora?
too. I think. Yeah, I think they would be too good. Whereas, like, I think if neutrals were whatever faction your leader is plus neutrals, in that would probably help them.
Why is Agitator OP? It's not. Oh my goodness.
It's pretty good.
I wouldn't say it's OP.
No,
yeah,
I agree.
I probably
think
wouldn't
so.
either, but it's pretty good.
Like, you have to build a deck around it.
I would say
I
it's-
like it because it forces you to do that, and I like
I
cards.
would, I would say that there's at least like a debate there. Opinions
is
on
it?
Yorvith meditation. Pumpkin, go.
I like it. It's a fun card. I like to do math.
Yeah.
Pulling up a calculator is always fun. Honestly, the effect is so nice. When you get like an 8 and a 13 or a 13 and a 21, when they trade into 1 power, it's so satisfying.
And then you misclick and rage.
Well, I mean, I guess you have to increase your APM or something. I don't know.
You're
Gwent
too
an
busy doing
APM.
the math, and then you're like, oh crap, better click real quick. And then click the wrong way around.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that you can't make your opponent's cards hit your cards. It's kind of frustrating.
It's
Why?
kind of necessary.
Yeah, why would you want that? Oh, let's have them hit me
For
first.
scorch
Like,
stuff.
With Bork, there are scenarios where you want to lower 2 units and you have one
Yeah.
of the higher units and you want, like, they'll have 2 11s and a 12 and you'll have like a 12. Not a 12.
then
You'll have
you should
like,
have played better.
No.
I mean, he's
You're
right.
not wrong,
It's
I
not
guess.
even. It's not even that rare. It happened to me too. Has it only happened to you once, Pumpkin, or multiple times?
It's
that
probably
you wanted
happened
to
about
do that?
3 times.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it happened to me only once, but it's honestly not that uncommon of a scenario in
And
these
you
like
can't
kill and scorch times we
Hold
find
your
ourselves.
own cards unless they're your so the other day my opponent had no cards on the board and I had 2 cards. I played the card and it forced me to duel, so I had to pick it back up and discard him. So you can only make your cards duel if your opponents have no cards, which is stupid. I
Yeah.
don't know how that's or why that's coded in there. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know why that's there.
So, are we saying it's secretly bad or secretly good?
It's a good card.
It's no secret. It's a good card and everyone knows it. There's no secret there, Jagras. Secrets aren't. Not every card is secretly something.
Why not? I like this better. It's the secret better.
Secret meta.
Secret meta. Oh.
Do we have any more questions?
Yeah. There's just a couple more. How do you fix Moonlight and make it playable? Do you think the vampire patch or update will be enough, or do you think the effect is just bad? I think the effect is just bad. The vampire, I mean, they can add more vampire cards and it won't really affect it.
Yeah, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless there's some bonkers effect, like it does 2 damage every turn on the entire row if you play this gold card or something. Like if it did continuously 2 damage to the entire row.
Yeah, exactly. It's a complex effect to evaluate, honestly, just because it's really kind of 2 cards that you're talking about. Like, it's played from 1 card, but you're really talking about 2 cards because Full Moon and Blood Moon are just 2 completely separate archetypes. I feel like the Blood Moon cards, the fact that they are all damaging units that are under Blood Moon isn't great because typically, like for example, stuff like Werecat and stuff like Lamia, it's restricted removal that you're only getting some of your value back by playing. And the fact that you're hitting stuff that's already been damaged once by Blood Moon is kind of a similar problem that stuff like Shield Maiden and Vabjorn have, where typically you don't really want to have to hit stuff that's already been hit in some way, right? I don't know. The numbers on it are just low.
Dude, you're painting. Like, you're making a cart. What is this?
Are you watching the VOD of me?
Yes, of course I'm watching the VOD of you. I need to see your amazing paint skills.
My God.
You going shopping and like the...
Yeah, I took my chat shopping. That's right, Pumpkin.
So I would say like it depends on the cards that you have with Moonlight. Like if you can make some cool monster cards that synergize, then it could be like more viable.
Yeah.
I think that's how you make it good, is you make more cards.
Okay. And last question from chat. Should Tremors be nerfed or changed? What? Or maybe the problem is with Ithlin. Like what are we thinking? Pumpkin, your thoughts. Go.
I mean, it's obviously insane. I mean, I've hit 40-point Ithlins. I saw Joe Snow got hit for like 60, 65 with it.
It's good stuff.
Granted, he was running Ithlin too, so it's not really...
But what would you guys say is the problem with the combo? Is it Ithlin or is it Tremors?
I think Ithlin, because I think Tremors by itself isn't super bad. I mean, super good. Yeah. But then the double Tremors is what hurts because it can hit like the two power units too would give it a...
Because we had this problem in the past with Ithlin, and then they made her like she was disloyal at one point as well, just to like try and counter some of this stuff. And usually the problem is with the spells that she can target rather than with like the spells themselves. Because no one's like, oh man, playing just a single Tremors is bad. It's the fact that you can tutor it and play 2.
Yep. Swim, do you think it's secretly bad?
Ithlin Tremors? No, I think it's one of the most overtly good things we've seen.
Do you know why they changed it?
It's not really hiding about it. Because it had a really low play rate, and they wanted it to be big and strong.
Well, I mean, they did it, so what's...
In the industry, we call that a buff. They wanted it to be... they wanted to send Tremors weightlifting, and, you know, it came back with a vengeance.
I mean, have you played the card? Have you ever had games where like you have a dead Ithlin or you're like you'll top deck a Tremors and it's just dead?
I mean, I have. It happens pretty rarely that I think they brick like that, and it's absolutely worth, I think, those edge cases where that does happen. It doesn't feel like those edge cases are able to balance the sheer power you get with the combo. Yeah, and the flexibility too, because the flexibility is important. The fact that you aren't committed to play Ithlin for double Tremors, if A, the opponent plays something you need to remove, or B, you end up wanting to play Ithlin in a short round without a lot of targets for Tremors, then you can just double zap.
Yeah, I don't find myself double zapping. I mean, I made a deck with only Tremors and Ithlin, and it worked fine.
Yeah, yep.
Running double, I think there was like one game against Consume where they had like 2 units and I wanted double Thunders and I didn't have it. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, this card's bonkers. It's great. I ran a Royal Decree, Renew, Ithlin, double Tremor, double Thunder. That was fun.
Yeah.
The problem is Royal Decree doesn't hit Renew anymore. It sucks.
Times. What a problem.
Yeah.
a lot of people are saying that I honestly think that in a way both cards are a bit of the issue here. Tremors is pretty strong after the change, but Ithlin's design basically makes them have to print bronze spells, and not even bronze spells, but also boons and hazards at a lower power level compared to other bronze specials. Because, I mean, if Ithlin could play something like double Mahakamail, like if it wasn't limited to the spell tag, then people... that. Yeah, exactly. And it was broken. It was absolutely broken, right? So it feels like Ithlin's design as a card almost forces them to completely make bronze spells intentionally weaker than other cards. And we're seeing that because Stammelford Tremors isn't that. I don't know. I feel like they're both issues, but if anything, Ithlin might be the larger problem. Like, they're never going to be able to print a decent bronze spell.
With doing that, then, is also that then those spells don't see play unless you tutor them.
Yeah.
I mean, bear in mind that, like, I think Ithlin existed back when you didn't get a mulligan, round 2 and 3. That was something that they added. And, you know, in that situation, she was much worse because you couldn't then get rid of your tremors or whatever if you brought it. But because we have these kind of safer mulligans round 2 and 3, I think she's quite safe. You know, you're saying that you very rarely get a situation where you draw a dead Ithlin or a dead tremors or what have you. And that's, I mean, considering the sheer number of games that, like, Swim probably plays, for example, that you realize how rare that actually is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
What do you think, PusoKo? You're a little...
Oh, wasn't I the one who first answered? I said Ithling was the problem.
Oh.
Yeah.
She is the problem. You. But how do you fix it? That's the question.
Make her a 1-point spy. I mean, that fixes tremors, but it doesn't fix the problem of her in the future.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the problem is with her design. Like, so I was saying earlier, something I kind of pointed out to chat is she's basically Henselt, right? Like, Henselt has always been, I mean, he's a leader compared to a gold card, but it's basically play 2 bronzes. And play 2 bronzes is a really powerful ability, right? That's kind of what it is. And of course, she's limited by the spell tag, right? That's the only thing that's stopping her from literally being Henselt. And, you know, maybe even the special tag, which would also kind of prevent her in a way, but I don't know. The card design itself, just being able to play 2 cards, is always going to be very strong.
Isn't that what makes her gold?
Well, but a gold is worth less than 2 bronzes, though. That's why, like, she and Henselt are very good when, you know, their tags aren't completely blocking them out of viability.
Now we have Winch. You can pull 3 bronzes.
Yeah, see, right there. Anyway, that is, I believe, going to be it for our talk show today. Thank you to Pumpkin and PusoKo for joining us. Do you guys have any shout-outs, plugs, anything you would like to give, starting with PusoKo?
Shout out to Lurtz for inviting me. And where can you find me? Twitch.tv/PusoKo, which is PUSOKO. Yeah. Shout out to Jack for being cool. Shout out to the people in chat who's using my emotes to make me feel better. Okay, that's all.
Pumpkin.
I'd like to give a shout out to Lurtz, who, for those of you who don't know, he puts all this together behind the scenes. I had him on stream the other day. When is Lurtz going to stream?
Like he was in a call with you?
Yeah. He was doing, he actually sang for us.
Oh my God, I was there. He was doing like impressions or something.
Yeah, it was great.
Oh, I missed this.
Wait, what impression was it? It was like he was doing a voie.
He tried Darth Vader, but it just sounded the same.
Oh.
It just sounded like his normal voice.
Okay.
And you can find me on twitch.tv/SirPumpkn. Check that channel out for funness. I don't know. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Jagras.
Oh, I gotta do shout outs. Shout outs to /Nox8 because they asked for the shout out. I always shout out someone in chat, but they asked, and then there was a PogChamp, so I'm feeling pretty PogChamp today. So shout outs to /Nox8. Shout outs to obviously the lovely viewers, especially them weebs in the chat. You know, we love them the most. Don't tell them that though. And shout outs to Swim, who knows whether cards are secretly good or secretly bad. Without him, we would be
Interesting.
truly lost.
Admittedly, it is true that sometimes I use words that aren't as descriptive as words I could use.
Can we get a guide on what cards are secretly good and secretly bad?
That's I might be releasing something like that pretty
Next
soon.
YouTube
Oh,
video.
I'm so excited.
Giving you content
Please.
right here, right now.
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to Lurtz, just so that Jagras is the only person who didn't shout him out. No, but honestly, I'd like to give a shout out to Lurtz. Like Pumpkin said, he's kind of the man behind the scenes here. He's kind of setting this all up, and he's the, what do you say, the underappreciated, he does the.
He's secretly good.
This wouldn't
really good. He's behind the scenes.
None of this would be possible without him.
This is a good place to end.
Yeah, anyway, that's going to be it for us this week. We will all see you next week for next week's talk show. Goodbye, everyone.
Can
You
you
do the
rename your
often
stream to Secretly Swim?
Oh my god.
Was asleep in midst the trees.